Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together we'll chant verses 1 to 10. Chapter 11, Bhagavad Gita.
Om Atha Ekadashodhyayah Arjuna Uvacha Madanugrahaya Paramam Guhyamadhyatma Sangitam Yatvayoktam Vachastena Mohoyam Vigato Mama. Arjuna Uvacha Madanugrahaya Paramam Guhyamadhyatma Sangitam Yatvayoktam Vachastena Mohoyam Vigato Mama. Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam Shrutau vistarasho maya Vattah kamalapatraksha Mahatmyamapi chavyayam Evametadyathāthatvam Atmanam parameshvara Drashtumicchāmi te rūpam Aishvaram purushottama Manyase yadi tacchakyam Maya drashtumiti prabho Yogeshvara tato me tvam Darshayatmanam avyayam Shri Bhagavanuvacha Pashya me partha rupani Shatashodha sahasrashaha Nana vidhani devyani Nana varna kritini cha Pashyadityan vasun rudran Ashvinau marutastatha Bahunyadrishta purvani Pashyascharyaani bharata Ihaikastham jagat kritsnam Pashyadya sacharacharam Mama dehe gudakesha Yacchānyadrashtumicchasi Natu mam shakyase drashtum Anenaiva svachakshusha Divyam dadami te chakshuhu Pashyame yogamaishvaram Sanjaya uvacha Eva muktva tato rajan Mahayogeshwaro harihi Darshayamasa parthaya Paramam rupamaishvaram Aneka नेत्रनयनम् अनेकाद्भुतदर्शनम् अनेकदिव्याभरणम् दिव्यानेकोद्यतायुधम्
Jankiji, you have to unmute.
Thank you. Who is Satsang host? Omkar, are you here?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Omkar, can you please, in all the classes, make the prayer in English as well? We write it in Sanskrit, but now that we have people from all over the world, we should have the English version as well, please. Okay? I mean, not the translation, just the translation.
It is there, Jankiji.
It is there?
Yes.
Now, we started last time the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where in the 10th chapter, you've seen the analytical form. And to analyze something is to break it up into its component pieces. So he said, I am this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Now he sees it all synthesized. To synthesize something means to put all the various parts together. So now he sees everything in one. He wishes to see it all in one form. So he says, Madanugrahaya Paramam Guhyam. Out of Madanugrahaya, out of compassion for me. The teacher teaches for no reason at all. There is no reason for a teacher to teach anything. Why would a teacher do that? There's no reason whatsoever. What is the person to gain physically or emotionally or intellectually? There's no reason. To ask why does a teacher teach is like asking, why does the rose give fragrance, or why does the sun shine? There's no motive there. It's just the way it is. That's it. So when we look at their actions, so motiveless, so pure, so without a single axe to grind, nothing they want out of us. They don't even want that we grow and improve. Absolutely nothing they want from us. Then our question is always, why do they do it? And so we give ourselves an answer. We say out of compassion, out of love. What else can we say? So that's what Arjuna says. Out of compassion, because there's no other reason. Compassion is also not correct. But what else can we say? What other reason can we give for their teaching us this noble knowledge, telling us these facts? They are getting nothing. They are putting in all that service and sacrifice. So for what? We can only say out of compassion. It's a borrowed term. It doesn't explain anything, but well, we can't say anything else. So Madanugrahaya Paramam Guhyam Adhyatma Sanyatam. Sanya means a name. So Adhyatma, what is called Adhyatma. You have given me this knowledge, the Paramam Guhyam, the supreme secret. Why supreme secret? Everyone remembers why is this knowledge called a secret?
Nobody knows it.
No one knows it. Whatever nobody knows is a secret. So this is a supreme secret. Why? Because not a soul knows it. No human being knows it. Okay, so you say, what about the realized souls? Well, they are realized souls. You don't call them human beings. So no human being knows it. So supreme secret. You have told me that thing which is not known to anyone. You have given us an introduction to who we are. You have told us that there is a truth beyond what our senses can perceive, our mind can feel, or our intellect can think. So you've told us this great secret, which no body, mind, and intellect can ever know. So it is called Adhyatma. It's called Adhyatma. Adhyatma means self, the knowledge of the self. You've given me this great knowledge. Yat Tvaya Uktam, which by you has been spoken. Uktam means has been said. Tvaya, by you. Vachaha, Vachaha, that word. Tena moyam ayam vigataha. Gata means to go, gone. Vigataha, completely gone. He says, that word by which you have spoken, by which my moha, vigataha, my moha, my delusion is gone. What does this refer to? What happened? What does this refer to? Says my moha is gone, my delusion is gone. So what does it refer to?
It's false confidence, right?
Yes. Why are you so lacking in confidence in saying that, Bharat? Yes, it is false confidence on the spiritual path. A belief that, oh my God, I've got this knowledge. And now I know something. It's a false confidence. Why do we say it's a false confidence?
He's not fighting.
The action is not there.
Because he's not yet got up and done what he's supposed to do. Later on, again, he's going to repeat this, by the way. Nashto moha smritar labdva. My moha is nashtofied. My moha is destroyed. And that's different. That's he picks up his bow and goes and fights the war. But here he's just saying, oh my God, this is so wonderful and I've understood it and all my delusion is gone. Nothing has gone. He's all he's done is he's got excited with the knowledge. All that has happened. And that is what happens to us. This is something that is not happening to Arjuna. This is something that's happening to us. Each one of us believes that we have gained this knowledge. We have forgotten that we have not found our original nature. And as long as we have not found that, we have known nothing. Imagine a dark room. It's completely dark. All right? And there's a light switch somewhere. It's a big room, large hall it is. And people are trying to make their way to that switch, to switch on the light. Some people are very close to that switch. Some people are very far away from the switch. But close to the switch or far away from the switch, the fact remains that every one of them
Is in darkness.
is in darkness. Very good. So there is no point saying, you look at others and say, oh, they are not grown. What is the use of saying they are not grown? They are in darkness and I'm in darkness. The only difference is some of us are closer to the switch, some of us are further away from the switch, but the darkness is the same. So what is there to feel so excited about that you've gone closer to the switch? Unless you switch it on. See, realization is on or off. You have to switch it on. And the whole thing changes. It's all light. But before that, it's all darkness. So what's the point of saying who is further, who is closer? It's all pointless talk. Only the person who has reached realization is the person who comes. And you may say, no, it's better to be closer to the switch than further away from the switch. Is it better to be closer to the switch than further away?
No, makes no difference.
Makes no difference. Why not?
Because you say it's a question of either on or off. You're right.
So why is it making no difference? Some people are closer to the switch, some people are further away.
You
So
are not
at
trying.
least it makes some difference.
You are not trying. You're idle, sitting idle, not trying.
In
Yeah.
fact, maybe the ones who's closer may be sitting on their laurels and not even, maybe less likely to reach. The guy from far may sprint and make it.
Very good. Because closer or further is not the point. Effort is the point. So it's no point saying that, oh, so undeveloped, somebody is not developed. I am so low, he is so high, or I am so high, he is so low. It doesn't matter. Anybody at any point, low or high, can sit down and relax. You're tired, no trying to find your way in the dark. You sit down and relax. So, just a minute. What matters is, have you switched it on or not? So this belief that we have somehow improved or somehow got some knowledge is a very false belief. Because A, we haven't realized the self. B, we cannot even guarantee that we will keep on working till we reach there. So there's no point saying, I know something, you don't know anything. Relax, chill. It's going to take us a long time by the time we find out anything at all. I mean, I don't mean to depress you, make you feel like, oh my God, so sad. But these are the facts of life. Anybody, anytime can settle down and get off the path. Cause that Mahati Vinashti. Great loss. So my delusion of mine is dispelled. How much confidence we have. It's an amazing thing. You know, in this world, each one believes that having confidence is a very good thing. I'm not saying it's a very bad thing, but it's definitely a little overrated, isn't it? You can be entirely confident and entirely wrong. So what is the supreme secret? The supreme secret is seeing things for what they are. None of us sees anything for what it is. What is this? Could you please elaborate this point again? A person on any rung of ladder, it doesn't matter. Uttara, what it means is that you can be on any rung of the ladder. They say your ladder is of 100 steps and you're on 99 and you're just standing on 99, you're not doing anything. Somebody else is on 1 and he's climbing. He'll reach 99 and he'll reach the top. But you don't reach the top because you're just sitting at 99 thinking, look, everybody's behind me. Now, what use is that? So similarly, we'll study it. We're going to come to it in chapter 18. Where? Chapter 18, chapter 17. Where he says that the 3 gunas, they bind us. Sattva binds by knowledge and happiness. It's the bondage of sattva. We think, oh, very nice, knowledge and happy and all very nice. It's the bondage of sattva. Means it's keeping you away from the self. Okay, Uttara? No. So, verse 1 clear, everyone? By that speech of the supreme secret known as Adhyatma, self, which you have spoken out of compassion for me, this delusion of mine is dispelled. All right, so let's go to verse 2. Bhavapyayo hi bhutanam shrutau vistarasho maya tvatva kamalapatraksha mahatmyamapi chavyayam bhavapyayo hi bhutanam shrutau vistarasho maya tvatva kamalapatraksha mahatmyamapi chavyayam. Bhavapyayo. Samas, it ends in yo, meaning two things. What are the two things? To be and to be destroyed. Means origin, bhava, to be and to be destroyed. Origin and dissolution, bhutana, of beings. Shrutau. Shrutau means those two things have been heard. Vistarasho maya. Vistarashaha. Sandhi rule. Vistarasha maya, by me. Tvata. Tvataha, from you. O Kamala Patraksha. Kamala Patraksha. Kamal, you'd understand, lotus. Aksha. Aksha means eyes. So, eyes like the petals of a lotus. Mahatmyam. Avyayam. Avyayam means inexhaustible. So, I've heard your greatness, your inexhaustible greatness. Where did he hear this?
Previous chapter.
Krishna.
Previous chapter. Yeah, I'm glad you all know. So he's referring to what he has just heard. He says, O Kamala Patraksha, O lotus-eyed one, he's referring to the Lord. And he's saying, I have heard in detail about your inexhaustible greatness, because he told him, remember, that this is just a very small part of my detail. There's so much, I can go on detailing it to you forever. So I've heard this. I've also heard what is the origin and dissolution of beings. You told me all this. In detail, you've told me all this. Oh, Kamala Patraksha. I've heard all this. Shrutau, I have heard this. Kamala Patraksha. Kamala Patraksha means lotus-eyed. Now, lotus in India has special significance. And otherwise, if you think of somebody being lotus-eyed, just imagine if your eyes are lotus instead of eyes. Look horrible, no? Big eyes like that, I don't know. Like some of those insects with bulging eyes. So if you just take it literally, it makes no sense. What is lotus-eyed? What lotus-eyes means is, I don't know if you've noticed, even if you go in the temple, you realize they usually show the murti of the various gods. And have you noticed what they are often standing on?
Lotus.
On a lotus. So this lotus is a
Sometimes
great,
often holding it in the hand is also done.
yes. So you will find this, there's a constantly repeated motif about the lotus. So why, what's so great about the lotus? The lotus represents the truth. Vishnu carries a lotus in his hand, most of the God stand on lotus. What does it mean that you're standing on lotus? It means you're standing on truth. Yes, your personality is based in that truth. So so lotus represents truth. Now, why does lotus represent truth? Because of its very interesting characteristic, which is that it is born in water, in dirty, muddy, horrible water. It lives in that. It even dies in that. But that water never wets the lotus, doesn't dirty the lotus. So the lotus represents the truth, because the truth is here, unaffected by any of the mess we create around it. It is not only a symbol of the ultimate truth, it is also a symbol of the way to reach that ultimate truth, which is, can you stay in the midst of everything and continue to be unattached to it, unaffected by it? So this is a quality of the truth, right? That it is with us. Whatever we think is going on, the truth stays. That's the quality of truth. Now, how do we reach truth? Reaching also same way. Can you be in everything and still out of it? Can you work as if your life depended on it, without your life actually depending on it? Can you love as if your life depended on it, without your life actually depending on it? Can you study as if your life depended on it, but not dependent? So this capacity in us, it's a purely human capacity. And it is the most fine human capacity to be in something and out of it. Same time. It's difficult, but it's only a human being can do it. It's not like human beings do it, but the capacity to do it rests with us. It doesn't rest with a dog or a cat or a mosquito or a crocodile. Whatever they are in, they're in. If the cat is sleeping, it is sleeping. If the dog is barking, it is barking. It can't be in and out, but a human being can be. Because the mind can feel and the intellect can stand witness. So this is a unique capacity that a human being has. And by using this capacity, we can reach that ultimate truth. So the gods are represented with this thing, lotus. They say that Krishna is lotus-eyed. Or anyone, they even refer to Vyasa like that. Lotus-eyed. What do you think it means to be lotus-eyed?
Your life is based on the truth.
Why lotus-eyed?
Because the lotus
Let's see the truth.
Huh?
represents the truth and that you will not be affected.
Right. Why lotus-eyed? Where did the eye come in from?
Having the vision of truth.
Yes, that's right.
Because you never lose the vision of truth. You see the truth, correct? That is what you're seeing all the time. You never ever see anything else. The rest of us can fall into delusion pretty quickly. But those who have access to the truth never lose it. So, O Kamala Patraksha. You hear this, it's a commonly used thing. That means the great souls who have the capacity to see the truth. They're always in association with that truth. They never lose that truth. That is why you also, sort of bow down to the feet of the elders or the teacher, things like that. Why? Because the feet represents the foundation of the personality. And the foundation of the personality of the great souls is truth. So the feet are supposed to be the lotus feet or standing on the lotus, however way you want to put it. Okay, clear about lotus-eyed? It is what the truth is. It is our way of going to the truth. It is also this unique human capacity that is there. No other creature has. All right. Okay. Thank you, Malati. Now, so I have heard about the origin and the dissolution. I have heard about your inexhaustible greatness. Okay, so what? Let us see, so what? He's just making a statement. I have heard all this. This whole thing about being like a lotus is also one other element of the lotus, is also about it being beautiful. Everyone admits to the beauty of the lotus. So when you are in association with the truth, when you are a detached person, you are said to be very beautiful. Means you have a resting personality. Remember the ancient mariner? The ancient mariner, he came back from a voyage. Coleridge writes the poem about the ancient mariner. So he comes back from the voyage, and then he meets a party of people. 3 people are going to a wedding procession. So he goes and catches hold of one of them. And he starts, there was a ship, quoth he. He starts telling him all the voyage. And this man, he's on his way to the wedding. His friend is getting married. And this chap has caught him on the street and he said, there was a ship, quoth he. Unhand me, he says. What's wrong with you? What are you holding me for? I'm busy. I have to go to this wedding. And the story goes that he leaves his hand, but held him with his glittering eye. Very interesting thing. He tried to tell him, he didn't listen, so he left him. But that wedding guest could not leave. He could not leave because of the arresting personality He held him with his glittering eye. He didn't hold him anymore with his hand, but he held him with his glittering eye. You can't leave because you realize that you're in the presence of something extraordinary. So all of this, by the way, is included in Kamala Patraksha. Association with the truth, the beauty that comes out of the association with the truth, the vision of the truth, all of this is associated with this Kamala Patraksha. Okay, then what else do we have? Origin and dissolution, you know that, right? You know that the inexhaustible greatness, we studied that in the last chapter. Why inexhaustible greatness? Why inexhaustible? Come on, y'all are supposed to think these are easy verses. This whole chapter is rather easy. So,
there's no beginning or an end.
okay, why?
There is no form.
Your inexhaustible greatness. Why is it so inexhaustible? Okay.
All pervading. All pervading.
All pervading, okay. It is your inexhaustible greatness. It's not getting over.
It is not finite, it will not get over.
Yes, okay, it's going
That's
on, correct. Just think about it. Suppose there is a rope. You see the rope as a snake. But is that all you can see? You can see it maybe as a crack in the ground. You can see it as maybe a twig. Is there any end to the amount of things you can see in that rope? So inexhaustible greatness means today we are seeing it in this particular way. Tomorrow there will be a new generation. There will be a new whatever. They'll have a different world. You know, today somebody sent me a WhatsApp. They have started giving with a new ATM. Have you seen the new ATM that's at least become famous in my life today?
No.
Idli ATM.
Very good. Everybody is well attuned to what is going on in this world. Can you imagine all of us get to see the same things regardless of where we are? Now, new ATM. Why? You go to your ATM to withdraw cash. Here you go to your ATM, order idlis and dosas and whatnot. So, every day, something new. Inexhaustible greatness. There was a time, right, that people, I don't know if you and y'all are old enough to remember, there was a time that there used to be this big stone thing in the house. Like a mortar and pestle, and there used to be another big stone, and then in my aunt's house she did it for quite a long time after rest of all the uncles and aunts and parents had all turned to mixers. For a long time she continued to have, because she had servants, so those old time servants like the men in the house, and she used to actually get it ground with the stone. You all remember that? Yeah, Shilpa, I remember that. And that was one way of making idli. I mean, you start this whole process, you soak it and, all of that. You grind it. You need like the men, the men staff who will sit down and grind it. And they were fantastic idlis. They were really good. Everybody used to go to her house and say, we want idlis. So, this whole massive process of making the idlis would start. Then now in our generation, then of course our parents' generation, it was all mixers, and then in our generation it is
Pre-mixed.
ID and all that, pre-mixed. We buy it, just boil it. And now today the new thing is ATM. This is called inexhaustible greatness. What all are we going to see in this world? What all can there be? Any amount of things. Imagine in your dream world, what all is it possible to see? Inexhaustible. How many possible misunderstandings there are of the truth is inexhaustible. It is your inexhaustible greatness. It is your inexhaustible manifestations. Okay, clear, inexhaustible. And I've heard in detail. Why did he say I heard it in detail?
Again, last chapter.
Yeah, so why did he say? Because then I'm this and this and this and this.
Analytically described.
Huh?
It was analytically described in the last
Correct. Correct. So, okay, so this verse is very clear. No, I mean, it should be clear without any teaching, because it's a very clear verse. And they're all very simple. For the moment, at least, he's giving us all a rest. Not too much philosophy, just chill, relax, all simple verses. Was too clear? Anyone has a problem? Anything not done in this verse? You are sure about it all? Inexhaustible greatness. Verse 3. What happened, Omkar? You fell off to sleep. Evametadhyatha tattvam atmanam parameshwara drashtumichhami te rupam aishwaram purushottama evametadhyatha tattvam atmanam parameshwara drashtumichhami te rupam aishwaram purushottama. So what is he saying? I heard all this. I heard your inexhaustible greatness. I heard about your detailing. I've heard all of this. Now what? Evam eta etat yatha athya. As you have declared, evam etat. It is exactly like that. Means he has no doubt on what he has heard from his master, from his friend and now master. Evam etat. It is like this, as you have said. Tvam atmanam parameshwara. You yourself have said this, O Parameshwara. You see from where to where he has come now, he calls him Parameshwara. So it is exactly as you said. I have no debate. You have to have experienced this, right? It's exactly what we feel like telling our teacher. Yeah, you're right. Everything you said is correct. But now I want to do or say this. What is it he wants? Drashtum ichhami. Drashtum, to see, ichhami, I desire. Te rupam aishwaram. Your aishwara rupa, your supreme form, purushottama. Purushottama, purusham me uttam. The best amongst the Purusha, you have to understand here as humans, the best amongst humans. I want to say, oh, best among humans, oh, Supreme Lord, means the best among humans are the people who know the truth, right? So, oh, Supreme Lord, oh, best among humans, drashtum ichhami, I wish to see that form of yours. I want to see it. We also have no darshan de ghanasham anath mori akhiyan pyasi re. Narsi's bhajan, I think it is. Darshan do. I want to see. Drashtum ichhami te rupam aishwaram. I want to see that supreme form of yours. Now you know why we say Arjuna hasn't understood. He is saying clearly, my delusion is gone. I heard everything you said. And what is he saying? Show me the form. Now, do you understand? When you study Vedanta, you gain clarity. When you gain clarity, you realize here is a person who claims to have understood, And it's asking a question which is based on a misunderstanding. So there are various grades of questions. Unfortunately, and Arjuna usually asks the lower grade of questions. The lower grade of questions are questions that come because a concept has not been clearly understood or has been misunderstood. The better grade of questions come when a concept has been understood, clearly understood. Like when you see the questions of the Upanishads, if and when we get there, you see the difference in the questions. Those questions are based on understanding the facts. These questions are based on not understanding. So it is very clear that though he claims knowledge, the question tells us that he hasn't got it yet. So he says, it is just as you have declared. This is the arrogance of knowledge. This is the arrogance of ignorance. Does Krishna need him to say the certificate he needs from Arjuna, whether it is what he said was correct or false? This is the arrogance of ignorance. That is why traditionally in our country, even praising your teacher is not considered a good thing. Because when you praise somebody, you're assuming that you are at that level or higher. So, I don't know if you've noticed that if you, in music, they do that, they show it. So they utter the name of their teacher, then they hold their ear, because why, can't even utter his name. It's only a dramatic representation of this.
Yes.
That can't even take his name, he's too far from us for us to sort of to say anything about. So, O Parameshwara, he says, you are Parameshwara. Evam etat. Evam etat means, I am giving you a certificate that what you're saying is true. If you are Parameshwar, what do you require my certificate from? Meaning, he doesn't mean to be arrogant. It is childishness on his part. If you call it arrogant and all, it makes it sound like as Arjuna is a bad guy. A bad guy. He's just very innocent. He's just very childish in terms of Krishna, of course. Pramila Chaudhary, you have a question? You've raised your hand, so is that by error or do you have a question? You have switched on your video. Were you trying to switch on your audio? And now we can see your fan. So it is just evam etat. Evam etat means it is as you say. Evam etat. It is just as you have declared yourself. Now, drashtum ichhami te rupam. When somebody says, I want to see that glorious form of yours, what do you immediately understand? You understand many things. In all these verses, when Arjuna speaks, it's more a test for us to see how much we can understand out of what somebody else has said. So very clearly, if a person asks for manifestation, it means that his development is not so high. Because the more high the development, the lower the need for manifestation. So as you, if you are a teenager, very, very immature, then every day you need and these emoticons and all have to come, like hearts and I don't know what all, hugs and hearts and all of that. You have to show all that to the teenager because they want it. Then you have to send gifts and presents and cards and whatever, something or the other. Okay? Then, as the relationship progresses, And now it is, a well-developed relationship. I'm not saying it's a much older relationship, but a developed relationship means it's a deeper relationship. Usually happens with time. Just a look, just a glance is enough. Don't have to say too much or express too much or anything like that. So the less the understanding, the greater the need for expression. The greater the understanding, the less the need for expression. Like you can imagine a conversation that Einstein and Niels Bohr has. So how would that conversation proceed? We probably won't understand what they're talking about because they will talk at their level. But suppose either of them have to explain to PhD students what they're talking about, then there'll be more explanation. And they explain to their graduate students, more explanation. If they have to explain to school kids, even explanation may not work. They may have to get them to do things before they understand something, like do an experiment or do something. So as the understanding grows, expression reduces. Same thing happens in the spiritual path. In the spiritual path, if you're developed, you look at a sunrise or sunset and you can go into raptures about God. If you are less developed, then you need to go on pilgrimages, things like that, and see the grandeur of the Himalayas, see the great falls or something like that, and say, wow, what a great expression of nature. And if you're not developed at all, then you need pigeons out of a hat. Some miracles have to happen. Ganesha has to drink milk or something miraculous has to happen. So the higher the development, the lower the need for expression. The lower the development, the higher the need for expression. Can't we look at our own body and be in raptures about God? Like every morning, these men shave. Isn't it amazing? A little bit of hair has grown every day. Amazing, no? Or when you cut your nails, isn't it fascinating? You look at your nails, you never see them grow. And yet every few days you seem to have to cut them. When you open your eyes, you see. That's a miracle. Suppose we were not able to see. And one day we opened our eyes and we saw. Wouldn't we feel the miracle? But today, when we open our eyes in the morning, okay, you're fast asleep. Then you get up and you're getting up and then you open your eyes. And if there's some light in the room, or if you're getting up late, then there's plenty of light in the room. Then you look and you can see. Wow. You can see. Right now, we can hear. Isn't that a wow thing? I don't know if you've seen those videos, that very small babies who've never heard anything, then they get given hearing aids because they were born deaf or whatever, and then they're giving you. And then the child hears the mother's voice for the first time, the father's voice for the first time. And it's like, the child is like, my God. And we who hear it all the time, no, we don't see no miracle in that. So as we develop, we find ourselves in the presence of miracles all the time. That feeling of it's all miraculous comes from the feeling of the presence of divinity. There is something greater, something vaster, something bigger than what we can even conceive, what we can even imagine. Something beyond our ken completely. And if you don't understand that, then you say, oh God, I want to see you. Show me your form. What, Krishna must be feeling helpless, no? Is there, yeah, all the time? What are you seeing? You're only seeing divinity. There is nothing else here to see. Now, what form do you want to see? But now you can't tell Arjuna that. Why not? Because Arjuna's pursuit of divinity at the moment is, can you fill in that blank? At the moment.
Very low. Very
One
low.
word. One word.
Incomplete.
Okay. Pursuit.
Deluded.
You can say all of these. His pursuit at the moment is objective. Objective means he's trying to find God outside. True spiritual sadhana, or not true spiritual sadhana, develop spiritual sadhana is when you find God inside. But now Arjuna is objective. He wants to see him. So in the younger stages of sadhana, you want to see him out there somewhere, as if he is separate from you. But when you grow, you can't see a separateness. Whatever you love, you can't see a separateness between you and that thing. So at the moment, his pursuit is all objective. So the question stems, if you want to put this verse in one word or two words, then what would those two words be?
Objective and subjective.
Well, don't say subjective because there's no subjective here.
Okay.
Be objective pursuit. That's where he has come. No, that's why he wants to see the form. What form do you want to see? He just told him, I'm everywhere. So he hasn't got it at all. He says, no, I want to see it. Okay, bhaiya, then dekho, main kya karu? Okay, so verse 3 is clear. Verse 3 is about objective worship, objective pursuit. Objective in the sense of trying to find divinity in the objective world as opposed to finding it subjectively. Okay, all clear? We go to verse 4. Okay, verse 4. Manyase yadi tachakyam maya drashtumiti prabho yogeshvara tato me tvam darshayatmanamavyayam. Manyase yadi tachakyam maya drashtumiti prabho Yogeshvara tato me tvam darshayatmanamavyayam. Arjuna represents all of us. We are ignorant, we are deluded, but we are here. Don't forget that big difference. Everybody is deluded, everybody is ignorant. What is the difference between us and them? If we want to make this difference, the difference is we are here. We are listening to these words. We are inspired by these words. It may not be a great difference, but it is a difference. And because there is this difference, it gives rise to certain things. See what they are. So there is this fundamental difference. We may be no better than the rest of the world. In fact, we probably aren't. But there is still a difference. And the difference is we are here. We are listening to the words of the Lord. We are interested in the words of the Lord. So the quality which we have is faith or devotion, which is exactly what Arjuna is showing us in this word. Manyase yadi tachakyam. Manyase means if you think. Yadi, if. Tachakyam, that possible. Maya drushtum, by me to be seen. Iti is like quotation mark. Means if you think this is possible, if you think it is possible for me to see, O Prabhu, O Yogeshwara, O Lord of Yoga. Now, Yogeshwara is also a very interesting term here, because one of the meanings of yoga, Yogeshwara, is one capable of throwing illusions. It's just one of the meanings. So it's an interesting usage here. Tato, tataha. Then, if you think it is possible for me to see it, then tvam darshaya. Show atmanam avyayam. Show me that imperishable form. So what is this verse talking about? One word? Don't be like that. One word for this verse.
Subjective.
Abhi to badaya. One word. What, you'll have all gone to sleep? It's too simple, no? Today, that's why you're all sleeping.
See.
Objective
Present.
question.
One word for this verse. We just did it. Nobody is listening.
Objective.
No.
Last verse is objective.
All pervading.
Mhm. Just now we did it. Whole point about this verse in one word.
Delusion.
No. No.
Yogeshwar.
Huh?
Yogeshwar.
One word for this verse.
Oh God.
What? What happened to you people? It's gone too simple, no? The Gita, you're not used. Very good. Dheeraj. Dheeraj, who are you? Are you in the class for the first time today? I don't know when.
Actually, yes, I'm in the class for the first time.
Oh God, Dheeraj. Look, all of you, you're going to make Dheeraj think that I'm the only one in this class. You think we are faking it with all these names, okay? He's the only one listening. Just now we did, no? What is this verse talking about? If you have to put it in one word, it is Arjuna's devotion. We did that. What is the difference between us and the rest of the world? We are as mad, as stupid, as idiotic. Everything is the same. We are as attached, we are as selfish, everything is the same. Then what is the difference? Why do we have access to this knowledge and the rest of the world doesn't? Because of one quality which we have got so far, which is gone.
Devotion.
Devotion. We believe in the greatness of this thing. We don't know what it is. We have no comprehension of what it is. Our pursuit is objective. Complete mess, everything is. But we have this one quality. And therefore, we have access to the words of the Lord. And that's what you see in this verse, where in spite of his underlying arrogance, okay, which he has already shown us, which we all have, he says, Manyase adi. If you think it is possible for me to see it, see his tone, he has in some way some comprehension of the greatness of Krishna. Then, O Yogeshwara, then, O Prabhu, Darshaya, show me that imperishable self of yours. He told her, remember last chapter he said, I'm that imperishable self. Okay, show it to me then. Show me that form. He obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. He's obviously ignorant. He's obviously not understood a word. But what he does have is the attitude of devotion, because of which he has access to listen to the words, the Lord's words. And we also have that. That's why we have access to these words. This class is open to everyone, right? Or any class in this world on the Gita is open to anyone. And yet, only 35 of us are here among the 8 billion on this planet. And if you include all the classes also, there won't be more than what? Maximum 10,000? I don't know, I'm just making up a figure. How come when it is accessible to everyone, only 10,000 people, just as a figure, have access to it? Because only they have that devotion. Only they have that belief or that, I don't know, understanding that there is something greater. And when I say 10,000, I don't refer only to Gita. I'm referring to every religious text across the globe. So that's what you're seeing over here. If you think it is possible, see a stone, if you think it is possible, then please show me. What he's asking for is wrong, but at least you can see his devotion there. Because the Lord is said to express through 5 different methods, which we will of course do next time, but he's asking one of those methods, which is manifestation.